But let's go to chapter 2, verses 1 through 3. Another big warning about false prophets. But there were false prophets also among the people, even as there shall be false teachers among you, who privily shall bring in damnable heresies, even denying the Lord that bought them, and bring upon themselves swift destruction. And many shall follow their pernicious ways, by reason of whom the way of truth shall be evil spoken of. Boy, get a hold of that one. Many shall follow their pernicious ways. Verse 3. And through covetousness shall they with feigned words make merchandise of you, whose judgment now of a long time lingereth not, and their damnation slumbereth not. They might look like they're getting away with it right now, but the fact of the matter is, their damnation is coming. But they will, through covetousness, they will use feigned words to draw you in. They're liars. They're wolves in sheep's clothing. And they will do whatever they have to do to get popularity. You ready for another big one, especially here on YouTube? You ready? People that you watch on YouTube, are they monetized? I mean, I want to just talk to you about the Bible today, but before I do, I'd like to have you hear a word from my sponsor, Chevy Trucks or something like that. What would you think if I said that? If I said to you, I'm actually going to be taking on a new sponsor here. I'm going to be taking on the sponsor of Ford or something like this. You know, AT&T Wireless is now my sponsor, and I'm just going to give a little promo before I get into my sermons. Would you consider me a real preacher or a fake one? Well, if you had any sense, you'd say, oh, you're fake. Why is it then okay to take money from Google? I mean, I'll show you some screenshots here. This is my account here. Show it to you. I'm not monetized. I've never received 1 cent for any of the videos that I put up. Why? Well, if I consent to do that, they partly own my videos. I'm not here to get paid by Google. The Lord will provide my needs. But I will tell you right now, if you're paid by Google, there's a problem there. And I would be very careful about watching anybody that's getting money kickbacks from Google. You see, because Google will promote their channel. And I get really weirded out too when I see people that profess to be Bible-believing Christians, and yet they're getting, you know, all kinds of views. Their videos go viral. Why? I mean, I've been on YouTube for essentially 8 years, going on 8 years. November of 2008 is when I first came on, and in that whole time, I'm only up to 16,000, a little over 16,000 subscribers. A couple million views, but I mean, I have over 1,000 videos. And it's interesting because I have older video out there where I actually showed that Google was putting, you know, ads on my videos without my permission, without my consent. It's kind of weird. But you get some guy that says, I'm going to monetize my account so I get those big views and get the big money. That's a problem. Because you see, all of a sudden you start to get checks from these lost people, Google. You start to get checks in, and you start to say, boy, wow, that one video did really, really well. I got a couple million views on that video. I should probably do some more of those. So it's not really the Lord telling you what to put out. It's more the almighty dollar, mammon, you might say. It's a good way to test a preacher. Oh, brother so-and-so, he's such a good man. Oh, he's such a good man. Is he monetized? You better think about that. Finally, we're going to go to Colossians chapter 2. This is going to be rather important for one of the devil-possessed, lunatic, false prophets that I'm going to be kicking hard in the upcoming study. See, most of you probably have already paused this thing. You're not even going to make it through the whole thing because I keep plugging the other video. But you're probably, who all is he kicking, you know? Well, I have good reason for kicking all of them. I'm not going to be doing any kicking of people that I'm not sure of. Colossians chapter 2, verse 18. Another good test of these false prophets in these end times. Let no man beguile you of your reward in a voluntary humility and worshipping of angels, intruding into those things which he hath not seen, vainly puffed up by his fleshly mind. Watch out for these people coming out and saying an angel showed me this or an angel showed me that, and you look at what they're saying and it doesn't even line up with Scripture. That's very, very dangerous. And I'm going to be kicking a guy in particular on that very subject. Verse 19, and not holding the head, from which all the body by joints and bands, having nourishment ministered and knit together, increaseth with the increase of God. You want to know who the head of the church is? It's Jesus Christ. You can read about that over in Ephesians. Verse 20, wherefore, if ye be dead with Christ from the rudiments of the world, why, as though living in the world, are ye subject to ordinances? Touch not, taste not, handle not, which all are to perish with the using after the commandments and doctrines of men? What are these people doing? They're saying, God gave me this vision. God gave me this special thing. I saw this angel. He showed up and he told me such and such. And now this is the type other stuff that you need to do along with your salvation. Touch not, taste not, handle not. You need to do all these other things to because God's revealed it to me by this, from this angel or something like this. They didn't see anything. They're prophesying a lie of their own heart, like we read back in Jeremiah 14:14. Verse 23, which things have indeed a show of wisdom and will worship, and humility and neglecting of the body, not in any honor to the satisfying of the flesh. So Paul's saying this stuff that they're telling you to do, that this angel showed them and things like this, those things that they have not seen, they're just lying to you. Those things oftentimes will seem like very good things. I mean, you need to do this stuff. You know, we need to do these special things and stuff to crucify our flesh more and whatever else. Yeah. Watch out for false prophets. And there are so many other verses we could go through too, but I'm just trying to get this one done because I want to get to the second one where I actually start to name some people. And there's going to be probably more coming out in the future as well. I mean, one of my jobs as a preacher is I need to be able to show people who false prophets are, how to spot them, because people get messed up by these false prophets. And, I need to be able to not only rebuke them myself, but I need to teach you how to spot them. And if you want to look at a couple ways, to sum up this whole thing, number one, they're going to be man pleasers. They're going to be popular with the world. They're going to be worldly, what the Bible says is worldly. All right? Not always. All right? Now, you'll see some of the people in the video coming up, they don't look worldly. They look like good, conservative, Bible-believing people and whatever else, but then they'll yoke up with the world and other things, and it's rather peculiar. But you're going to see people that are man-pleasers. They'll do what they have to do, monetize their accounts and whatever else they have to do to get more views. They'll do that. They're not content with just saying, okay, the Lord's going to prosper this or do whatever else. I mean, I know brethren that have been on YouTube longer than I have, and they have just, 2,000-3,000 subscribers or something like this. I mean, you're not going to be very popular as a Bible-believing Christian. And when you start seeing people getting millions of views and hundreds of thousands of subscribers, that's a problem. That's a problem. And again, you're going to see who I'm kicking in the next study. They're man-pleasers. They will tell you that they've had visions, they've heard angels, and God spoke this to me, and God spoke that to me, and you will feel that feeling of just like, ugh, I don't know about this. Something sounds wrong. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, watch the second part. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about. You'll see that. They've had visions, they've had dreams, they've whatever. And they're after money. They're after fame. They're after fortune. That's another thing with false prophets. they will try to come in and deceive gullible Christians and try to get their money from them. Yeah. So I'm going to quit now on this one, and you can watch the second part. But this is such an important study, and the second part, I'm going to be naming some people definitely, and it just grieves me to see so much deception out there, and I want to be able to protect people out there that are saved. I've always tried to turn people to the Bible. The Bible is your standard. The Bible is your final authority. Everything relies on this book. It is the king of the hill, so to speak. That's why I have this banner up right now. I bought this for doing some different video ideas I have, but all the books down here, the NIV and Time Magazine, New King James, ASV, New American Standard Version, Life, RSV, NRSV, Nassau, Lon, Metzger, Hort, Hegel, all these church fathers, Associated Press, all these people, all this junk down here is nothing compared to the King James Bible, the AV 1611, the authorized version of 1611. That's the book, and you hold it in your hands, right? You don't need to get a 1611 edition or something. You hold it in your hands if you have a King James Bible. All right, that's the standard. And all these people coming out, oh, God showed me this, God told me this, and whatever else, and people delving into the occult world and all this other stuff, and I mean really, really deeply delving into it, and to show you special things that God showed them. Be careful. Again, and you say, well, you do some of that. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. But I always take you back to the book, don't I? Be very careful.